Just think of standing on the precipice of history, where the warriors of Sparta and the philosophers of Athens converge. On one side, the ironclad discipline of the Spartan phalanx, marching as one unstoppable force. On the other, the quiet strength of Stoic philosophers who face life's chaos with unwavering calm. Now throw Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, into the mix, a man who traded every ounce of restraint for hedonism, every scrap of discipline for indulgence. The contrast is striking, isn't it? His chaotic life is a case study in what not to do if you seek strength, purpose, and mastery. But here's the twist. Belfort's story isn't just about excess and downfall. It's about the lessons we miss when we let emotion, greed, and impulse steer the ship. This isn't just a story about him. It's a lesson for you, young men navigating a world brimming with distractions, temptations, and hollow idols. Together we're going to dissect how the Stoics and Spartans would see this train wreck, and how their wisdom offers a guide out of the chaos. Hedonistic excess, the poison of pleasure. Let's not mince words. Jordan Belfort's life was a carnival of indulgence. Yachts, drugs, parties. He consumed life like a wildfire tearing through a dry forest. But here's the truth. The unbridled pursuit of pleasure doesn't just burn bright, it burns out. The Stoics called this hedon, the dangerous seduction of pleasure. They warned against letting your desires lead you by the nose. Think about a gluttonous banquet, the room thick with the smell of roasted meat and spiced wine, laughter ringing out as goblets overflow. It seems intoxicating, until the food turns to ashes in your mouth and the wine leaves you dizzy and hollow. Belfort lived at that banquet, never stopping to realize the feast was eating him alive. The Spartans, by contrast, lived on porridge and discipline. To them, excess wasn't just a moral failure. It was a strategic weakness. The man, too addicted to pleasure, cannot march into battle. His body is sluggish, his spirit soft. As you think about your own life, ask yourself, what pleasures are holding me back? Are they sharpening me or are they dulling my blade? Impulsivity, the chaos of an undisciplined mind. Belfort's impulsivity was his undoing. He made decisions with all the forethought of a gambler, throwing dice in a smoky room. Impulse drove him to con, manipulate, and betray. And when the chips fell, chaos followed. The Stoics taught that impulsivity is a disease of the mind, a failure to pause, to think, to reason. Picture this, a storm-tossed ship, its sails shredded, its crew scrambling as waves crash against the hull. That's what your mind looks like when you let impulse rule. You're not steering the ship. You're at the mercy of the storm. Spartans would laugh at Belfort's recklessness. Their lives revolved around strategy, planning, and precision. Before a single spear was thrown, their minds were battle-ready, rehearsing every maneuver in relentless drills. They understood that success, on the battlefield or in life, requires mastery over the split-second urge to act without thought. Ask yourself, do my decisions feel like sharpened arrows or wild slingshots into the dark? Greed and materialism, the illusion of success. Let's talk about greed, the relentless hunger that drove Belfort to defraud, deceive, and destroy. His world was gilded with wealth, but beneath the gold veneer was rot. The cars, the mansions, the designer suits, They were monuments to emptiness. The Stoics taught that material wealth is neither good nor bad. It's neutral, a tool to be used wisely, not a god to be worshipped. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor cloaked in unimaginable power, said it best. It is not what we have, but what we do with what we have. Wealth to him was like a sword. In the hands of a skilled warrior, it defends the weak. In the hands of a fool, it slashes wildly, hurting everyone in its path. The Spartans? They didn't even bother with gold. Their currency was iron bars, heavy and cumbersome, to discourage hoarding. They understood that the man who measures his worth in trinkets is a man who will crumble when the glitter fades. Belfort's empire of wealth collapsed because it was built on sand. What's your foundation? Are you chasing fleeting riches, or are you building something unshakable? Anger, the fire that consumes. Belfort's anger burned hot and wild. When his world spun out of control, he lashed out at employees, at loved ones, at himself. He didn't realize that anger is like a fire in a library. It feels powerful as it rages, but it leaves only ash in its wake. The Stoics saw anger as the ultimate weakness. Seneca wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." Think about that. It's not the insult that ruins you, it's your reaction. Imagine biting into a sour lemon, your face contorts, your stomach churns. Anger is that lemon, and holding on to it is like chewing it for hours, poisoning yourself for no reason. The Spartans trained to suppress anger in the heat of battle. A warrior consumed by rage makes sloppy moves, misses openings, and risks the lives of his brothers. Discipline was their shield against the chaos of emotion. In your own life, how often does anger lead you astray? How many bridges has it burned? Exploitation of others, the cost of selfishness. Belfort didn't just ruin his life. He pulled others down with him. Employees, friends, clients. He used people like tools, disposable once their usefulness was drained. This wasn't leadership, it was parasitism. Stoic philosophy centers on justice and fairness. To exploit another person is to betray the social fabric that binds us. Picture a great oak tree, its roots intertwined with those of nearby trees. Together they strengthen the soil, weathering storms. But if one tree grows greedy, sapping all the nutrients for itself, it weakens the whole forest. The Spartans thrived on mutual reliance. Their phalanx, a wall of shields moving as one, was invincible only because every man trusted the one beside him. Belfort's selfishness would have shattered that formation. Look around at your own relationships. Are you building a phalanx of mutual strength, or are you draining others for your gain? The illusion of success, chasing shadows. Belfort's life looked like success from the outside. The yachts, the fame, the endless stream of indulgence. It sparkled like a diamond. But inside, he was hollow. His story is a reminder that success without virtue is like drinking salt water. It looks refreshing, but it only deepens your thirst. Stoics believed that true success is measured by virtue, not wealth or fame. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Imagine a man walking through a market, his hands full of everything he thought he needed, but each step becomes harder, the weight unbearable. That's Belfort, burdened by his own excess, unable to see the freedom he gave up. The Spartans found their success in service to the greater good. Their lives were simple, their victories shared. Belfort's selfish climb to the top left him isolated. Ask yourself, what does success mean to you? Is it a fleeting moment of applause, or is it a legacy of strength, honor, and purpose? A Spartan Stoic call to arms. Jordan Belfort's life is a cautionary tale, a flashing red warning sign on the road to chaos. His hedonism, impulsivity, greed, anger, and selfishness led him to a hollow throne atop a crumbling empire. But his story isn't just about what went wrong. It's about the lessons we can take to make things right. As young men navigating a world that glorifies excess and dismisses discipline, you have a choice. You can follow Belfort's path, chasing shadows and drowning in indulgence. Or you can walk the path of the Stoic and the Spartan, cultivating strength, wisdom, and purpose. Embrace discomfort like a Spartan who grows stronger through the struggle. Seek virtue like a Stoic who finds fulfillment in what cannot be taken away. Build your phalanx. Surround yourself with brothers who lift you higher. And remember, true success isn't found in the applause of others, but in the quiet confidence of a life well lived. The choice is yours. Will you burn out like a firework, or will you forge yourself into an unbreakable blade?